Getting your first 100 customer is the hardest part of a business, but you don't need to struggle. I spent over 100 hours analyzing top experts, reading 60 blogs and watching 100 videos. So you don't have to. If Alex Hormozi or Ramit Sethi were to start from scratch, this is exactly how they would do it. Now I know what you're thinking. How do I know? Because they said so. I know exactly where you are. You're starting out. You have 0 customers. You're probably stressing about building a website or running ads. Just stop. With this framework, you don't need to run ads, you don't need a website, you don't need a fancy logo. This is how you close your first 100 customers like a master. In this video, I am going to give you a 3-step framework to not only get customers, but to validate if anyone will even pay for your service. So you don't have to waste months of your life on a bad idea. To make this foolproof, I have built a custom GPT for you. It's linked in the description and it will help you validate your idea automatically. But first, you need to understand the logic. Before we start, let me be extremely clear. This is not a magic trick. This is not a get rich quick. This is the best way, but it requires work. If you aren't willing to work, if you're looking for a magic pill, this video isn't for you. Before you sell, you need to ask yourself 3 simple questions to figure out if your business is even viable. First, what benefits do I provide? What problems do I solve? The second question is, do they have the ability to pay? Do they have actually the money? Ramit Sethi gives a very good example of a person who was trying to create a resume building service for people who are unemployed. But unfortunately, the people who were unemployed did not have the ability to pay him because they did not have a job, thus no money. So they don't have enough buying power to pay for their service. So you want to create a service for which people are willing to give you money and they have money to give you. Do they have willingness to pay, or do they want to solve the problem? There are some people who just simply don't want to solve their problem. They are fine with the problem and you don't want to solve those problems, do you? If the answer is yes to all of these 3, we move on to understanding the niche. The golden rule in the industry is to niche down 3 times. So for example, if I'm a photographer, then I would niche down to a photographer for celebrities, and to niche down one more time to a photographer for skincare Instagram celebrities. Now that is a niche which is very good. So do you niche down 3 times? Now that your idea is ready for the real test, most gurus will tell you to start cold calling strangers or running Facebook ads immediately, but that's total bullshit. Now here's the one rule. Do not sell to people not from your country unless you have very good friends overseas. The reason? The CAC, customer acquisition cost. The amount you pay to get your first customer is very high. So it's not for very early companies. The first thing I want you to do is forget the notion that you're gonna get paid from the first 5 customers. The way you get your first customer is you ask people you know, maybe your friends, your relatives, your parents, or your colleagues. Ask if you can execute your offer for them for absolutely free. Now, if you're an introvert or have not done this before, don't fear the unknown. This is how everyone starts. This is how I started too. It took me 4 weeks to get the courage to make my first call, and I got rejected total of 15 times until I got my first free customer. Just pick up the phone and call anyone, your father, your mother, any relative that might know you as a person, and tell them what you are doing and ask them if they are interested. Just do it. And if you do this, you won't have to look behind and regret it. Ask them if they know someone who would benefit from your service. And of course, tell them that it is absolutely for free. Now I hear you asking, why are we doing this for free? Now you might be angry and asking these 2 questions. Why am I selling to my friends, and why the hell I'm doing it for free? So the reason you're selling your friends is because of 2 things. 1, you have 0 credibility, but they are willing to trust you because they trust you as a person. And the way they pay you is by engaging you with others who are willing to work with you. Eventually, you will have more work and not enough time. When this happens, you ask people if they can pay you for your work because you have so much work already. And if they don't pay you, you can't take their project. Now, this is the time you can actually refine your offer. the time when you are not getting paid. You refine your offer, you make your service, your product better, create a grand slam of it. This is a technique by Alex Hormozi, and the link of those videos is in the description. When you have too much project and not enough time, you increase your price again, and now you don't just have 5 customers, you have around 25 to 50. For simplicity's sake, let's take 30. If you do this right way, and thanks to your relatives and your friends, you have incredible testimonies and real testimonies and how good you are, and we are chasing demand. So this frameworks chases demand before you supply. Now it's time to scale. Create a PDF that defines your offer, and this is the best time to create a simple landing page. Do not hire a web developer because they are completely unnecessary. There are tons of websites and tools that help you create an incredible website like Wix or Squarespace. Try them, and I promise you, eventually you will be able to get an amazing website by sheer hard work. Now it's time to utilize the biggest power known to entrepreneurs: social media. Now do not run ads unless you have a very good experience with ad. This would be a very bad time to work with ads. It's time to explore things like social media. But Amarnath, I hear you ask, I don't know anything about social media. Well, don't worry, this is what this video is about, giving you a crash course and everything. Here is a crash course on how to create a social media content. This is the best way to create trust. The first 3 to 5 seconds of your video has to be hooked, then the main content, then the CTA. CTA is what you want them to do. Most of the time, it's gonna be to ask them to like, share, or comment. The best way to monetize is by telling people how exceptional you are by giving your knowledge away. Do not talk about products, just talk about your craft, how they can apply your knowledge. You need to follow a 301 formula. 3 videos educational and 1 video where you talk about how you can execute your offer for them and help them. And in the 1 video where you explain your product or service, do not make the rookie mistake. Do not talk about money or do not talk about what incredible features you offer. Talk about the benefits. Now remember, when you are selling a drill, you don't sell the drill, you sell the hole which is going to be created by the drill. Now, in these videos, the CTA will be to DM you to get to know more about your offer. This is where you fix a meeting with them and show them the PDF you created. Now we can do a little more to optimize our funnel, like creating a lead magnet. And I think it's a very good time to subscribe to our channel, as this is the next video. So you get a notification and you optimize your social media funnel. And if you still can't figure out, you can log into app.amtop.in and use our content creation tool, which is of course for absolutely free, and it's always going to be free. We're going to make the ads, the SEO area a little paid later, but the social media and the analytics will always be free. Now remember, this strategy only works for people who work, and it cannot and will not work for people who just won't pick up the phone and call or create content. It's time you execute, because the plan don't matter, nor does how good your idea is. All that matters is how you execute everything. So call someone right now. Now you know how to get your first 100 customers. By the way, did you know caviar used to be sold in pubs for free before it became a luxury item? Here is a video about that. Check it out.